Good afternoon. It's good to be back with you. Usually on Tuesdays, I try to have a video out. It's a day off of work, and I try to make that happen. But this past Tuesday, my wife and I had a busy day, and in the morning we were volunteering at a place called Blessings of Hope, which kind of specialize in distributing food locally and globally. They have a special vision to use food that we take for granted. You know, we waste a lot of food in the United States. A lot of things get thrown away. And they're a really interesting ministry, and I would invite you to visit them, blessingsofhope.com or on Facebook. I also am going to have a link to a short video, less than 5 minutes, on Blessings of Hope and what they do, how their ministry got started. It's not usually like me to plug a ministry or this or that, but I found this to be rather inspiring for a video to just ask, are you making a difference? Do we see some areas that we can make a difference in? Now, with Blessings of Hope, of course, they're beginning to actually have outreach, internationally and such like that. And sometimes we think pretty big as Americans. I don't know, maybe it's ego, but we tend to think big, but we can make a difference right in our own community. And we should be praying for opportunities, of course, to spread the gospel. This is number one, because the needs that we have, be they, hunger or clothing, these are very important things for us to fill, brethren, no doubt. But they also must know of the gospel. And so we would pray for opportunities to share that gospel and not withholding from them things they really need until they hear the gospel. But without the gospel, then these other things would just be temporary and in vain. And so we know that as Christians, we are saved by grace and we're not saved by works. But the scripture also says that a part of our transformation is that good works will be evident. They will come forth in our lives. One of the things that I wanted to encourage you in, and this is from my own life. For so many years, I was a simple church attendee. Money would be just thrown into the offering. I never really even knew where it was going or what it was doing. I mean, once in a while there might be a special offering I was made aware of. But in other words, I wasn't really seeking the Lord at all. But as I grew closer to the Lord and these kind of scales fell from my eyes, I realized that each one of us has the responsibility to be a steward with what God has given us, whether it is money or whether it is services, other things that we have a talent for. We have a responsibility. And so I would encourage you to not just unthinkingly throw money into the offering plate. I'm not saying not to support your pastor or anything like that, but please, just ask the Lord, how to distribute. And one of these things that happens, I feel, is if you give into the offering plate, you may be doing something good, but for people at a distance, people that are out there and maybe not your neighbors right next door. And so I just encourage you by asking you, are you making a difference in the lives of others? Are you helping them with what there is to do? So we ought to be ask the Lord, what can we do for others? We are so prone to keep to ourselves and look to our own needs. It is selfish to a point, but I also think we are conditioned, all of us, to do that. And so that even when someone needs a helping hand, they may not be quick to ask, but they would sure appreciate it. And I just have some suggestions to make to you. Someone may need transportation somewhere. One time I remember my wife and I were going in the opposite direction, and we saw a neighbor walking back. He was carrying some kind of auto part he was working on, he needed. And he was a good ways from home, probably 1.5 miles or so, and it was the opposite way, but we turned around and we took him back. So maybe transportation, maybe some people have some physical limitations. They could use your help in transport. Maybe keeping up with yard work, mowing for them, doing some trimming on overgrown bushes, maybe shoveling snow in the wintertime. We often did that for neighbors around us who were, perhaps a little elderly and they couldn't care for themselves. My wife has helped many by sewing. She has a talent for sewing, and this has been greatly appreciated. And in America, of course, a lot of times we just throw things away and go get something else. Oh, the button fell off. Did you ever see that on TV? I think I saw it one time and said, oh, the button fell off. That's it. I'm getting a new shirt. So just sewing can be a great help to someone. It would save them money, and it might be an ability that they don't have. One time I heard also, I think it was with Brother Andrew. You may be familiar with his testimony, God's smuggler, how he came in contact with this person who was a mechanic. And he said he wanted to see this miracle car that just kept going. And he said he would work on this car while Brother Andrew was ministering. He ministered by giving Brother Andrew's car like a total, makeover, if you will, tune-up. And he just said this car should not have been running. So this was a talent God had given him that he was able to minister in. Also, I think of a time when in Africa, when we had these neighbors, we would go by them, they're sitting around and they had this small stool, which was just two pieces of wood and another board on top. And after a while, I wasn't seeing the stool or them sitting on it anymore. Going by, I thought, I was just, maybe it was a coincidence or whatnot. But then I saw one time that I went by and the stool was kind of thrown off to the side and one of the legs was kind of bent over like this. And so I went and I had some extra wood and I had the material and know-how. I cut a piece of wood and put it in there to strengthen the legs and support them. That's something I could do. And it was with things that, I had already spent money on. And so I just invite you to remember this from Matthew 25. I know you'll find it familiar when I start reading it. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was an hungered, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when did we see you like this? When did we ever minister to you? And Jesus says, when you have done it to the least of these, you have done it unto me. And so I encourage you to go this way, to see what it is that you can do. Ask the Lord for help in seeing this. You'd be surprised a lot of times you might offer someone help and they'll turn it down. There's a lot of pride involved, but some people really need it. And it's a way that we can minister. I was inspired again by Blessings of Hope, and I hope you'll watch the short video. It's pretty inspiring. But just in your own area of the world, in your own area of ability, just do it. Because that is just like the Lord's mercy that was at work in your life, now going through and helping someone else too. I hope this can be an encouragement to you. And remember to look at the scriptures in the description at the bottom of the video. God bless.